Hi, I'm Ellen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am setting up my bullet journal for November, and I wanted to do a nice cozy theme, especially because I'm in Minnesota right now and things are looking a little wintry outside. So to play into that, I am doing like a knit/crochet pattern, and I wanted to do it in a fun bright color, so it is mainly in pink. It's a pretty simple theme the way I've done it, but I think it's really fun and it's also a really relaxing and easy thing to draw. Let's get right into it. This is my Reflaris bullet journal. I will have that along with all the other materials I used linked in the description down below. And this is my little sample paper. I was trying out different markers and this is the combo I decided on. I used a darker shade of pink to create this petal or leaf shape in this pattern. I think it's easier to see than explain, but you basically do that through the entire page. And then after you've created those petal shapes, in the background or the spaces between the petals, you fill that in also with the darker shade of pink. So not the petals, but in between the petals. And the second shade of pink is going to be used for the petal color. It does look a little bit weird in this lighting. They look pretty similar, but in person there is definitely a difference between the two shades of pink. I do apologize for the continually changing lighting in this video. It does unfortunately happen throughout the whole video. But I think that this turned out really nice, and it does take a while, but it's also a really calming doodling vibe and not that hard at all. For the title of the month, I wanted to use these scraps of paper, so I wrote November in a pretty standard calligraphy style on the white piece of paper because I thought that would help it pop well against this full pink background. I love the look of thicker downstrokes in calligraphy as well, so I definitely thickened those boys up a little bit. The plan is to glue these down to the page a little bit later. I wanted to test out how it would look, but wait to do any gluing so that while I'm drawing on the later pages, it's not affected by any extra bulk on this first page. On to the next page. This is going to be my monthly grid, and because that first page was so time intensive, this one is a lot simpler. I drew out my grid and I have 6 dots wide by 5 dots tall for each of the days. That gives me enough space to write out whatever I want, and it still fits everything in it, even though it's 6 weeks kind of. I do start my weeks on a Monday, and so if you start on Sundays, then you're gonna have a different looking grid to me, but that's how I've got mine. I put a little space to write in the days of the week in this lighter pink color. I'm not in love with it. It is more of a peach tone than it is a true pink. And then I also wrote November out in the same kind of cursive style, but in the pink color. And it's in my lighter pink shade from the front page, and I decided to outline it with the darker pink shade to kind of tie it in while not making it an overly complicated spread. Then I wrote in the different days of the week, so Monday through Sunday, just so I know what's going on. Here I'm adding in a little box in the top left corner of each of the days boxes so that I can write in the numerical day of the month in each of them. In case you need a reminder, November 3rd is Election Day in the United States, so if you are eligible to vote, please make sure you get your vote in. It is very important. You can go in person, or if you've got your absentee ballot, you can fill that out as well and drop it off in a drop box. Make sure to check your local requirements for voting. Thanksgiving is, of course, towards the end of November. I'm not really sure how my family will be celebrating yet. The pandemic does complicate things significantly. But moving on to the next page, this is my content planner. So I put a smaller month grid on here to plan out what videos I'm going to do for YouTube throughout the month. If you have any requests, feel free to put them in the comments down below. I basically just write down what videos I'm planning to do, and then I also tick off when different steps of that video are complete. And I did the same title style as the other page, except I did this in lowercase instead of in cursive. The other half of this 2-page spread is my habit tracker. For the past few months, I have been doing single habit trackers, if that makes sense. So I make a mini calendar for each of the habits I'm tracking. I haven't fully decided which habits to track for November, but I usually track 9 because if I do too many, it gets a little too complicated for me. But things that I usually track are exercise, reading the news, taking my vitamins, flossing, different things like that. Sometimes it's things I want to do every day, and other times it's just habits that I want to see how often are happening. I'm planning to fill in the days that I do these habits with that lighter color pink that I have in my knit pattern, so that it'll maybe look like a little piece of knit fabric. Now we are moving on to the next pages, which are for gratitude and memories. These are the simplest pages for my setup because I just write the titles, but they're some of my favorite pages towards the end of the month. I went for a style that I thought would be kind of how letters would look if they were knit into a fabric. I don't know how well it went over, but yeah, it is how it is. I don't know, but gratitude, I just write what I'm grateful for every day, and in memories, I usually draw in different things that I've done throughout the month. Now moving on to my first weekly spread for November, I am doing my standard weekly layout that includes hourly planning for each day. So I took a lot of inspiration from different people who bullet journal, but I've also morphed this into my own particular setup. So I'm adding some embellishment up here with the same knit pattern thing going on, speeding through it because I already showed you how it's done. I added a mini calendar up in the top. I did have to omit the first day of the month because I didn't have enough space, but I added in all of the days of the week, and there's also a notes segment, and then down the side of each I put 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. so that I can do hourly planning. I also add in the bottom right corner a step tracker, so every day of the week I can write down how many steps I have taken, just to keep myself accountable for body movement. Some days we lay in bed all day, and that is okay, but I like to encourage myself to move. Going back to the first page, I did not forget about it. I decided to cut out my little calligraphy piece so that it is a little tighter to it, and just go with that instead of using the craft paper I had towards the beginning of the video. I just glued that baby down and then I'm done. I did not get it fully centered, but you know, sometimes the imperfections make it more, I don't know, me? I'm not perfect, so that's just fine. With that, we will flip through all of the pages. Here is my monthly grid. I might add more illustrations later. My content planner and my habit tracker. Here is where I'll put my gratitude and memories. I always love these pages, but I always feel weird because they're blank now. I don't know. Lastly, here is my weekly layout for the first week of November. Thank you so much for watching me set up my bullet journal. I hope you enjoyed the video and seeing how my bullet journal is set up for November. It's about the same as usual, but I had a lot of fun with the knit and crochet theme. It's fun to let all of my grandma hobbies overlap, you know, crochet in real life, crochet in my bullet journal, all good things. Let me know in the comments down below what your theme for November is, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!